Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. New day, same time. I hope you are okay. Salute, my dear Irish friends. And today's topic is the future of humankind. So it's a perfect topic. I'm delighted to be here with my friends. So anyway, thank you very much. So Charles, can you push the welcoming messages?
Yes, normally ladies first, Stevan, but okay, let's go. Bonsoir à tous. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here again with you to talk a little bit about this topic. Where are we going to? What's the future of the humanity?
Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite. Bom dia, Terra. Bom dia, Lua. Bom dia, planetas. Estamos juntos. My goodness, I will speak Portuguese. Sorry. Oh my God. Sorry.
Translators automatic switch.
It's okay.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again, once again with you all, regarding this wonderful theme, discussing today, learning today, once more with you all. So God bless you all.
Labas vakaras, laba diena visiems. Šiandien turėsime dar vieną pokalbį, šiandien trečiadienį apie dvasingumą ir nušviesime gyvenimiškus klausimus. Mūsų tema šiandien yra žmonijos ateitis. Tai tikiuosi, kad jums bus naudinga ir įdomu. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. I hope you enjoy our tema today, and it's a very, very interesting, hot topic. Have fun.
Good. It's a wonderful time to be here. I hope you are fine in terms of with this new time. Let's see, we have some friends here. Yeah, Patrocínio is us. Another friend for you, Nadja, Marileona, Labas, Nadja.
Wanda, and Leopold. Yes, Labas.
Yeah. Very good to have all these people together here. Let me share my screen here, because as usual, we will start with a wonderful video. Let me share here. Okay. So let's watch the video, and in 2 minutes, 1 minute and 30 seconds, we will be back.
If we look to our past too, I think we can say, even if sometimes we're very negative about nowadays, but life's a lot better than it was 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, where all the beings in this planet will be fundamentally happy. We don't know when that's going to happen. It's probably going to take a big chunk of time, but it will happen. Again, we go back to the idea of God being just and kind and always give us a chance to evolve and grow. So everything is growing and evolving. It's only a matter of time. So we are really reassured and happy and willing and eager to get to that point. And what we will take is each one and all of us putting in our work. It won't just happen miraculously. We have to take the responsibility in our hands. But what a beautiful day will be when all of us, regardless of birth, creed, religion, sexual preference, whatever you want to call it, will be happy. We think we're going to get there.
I believe that diversity is the way. We do have the capacity to understand each other and to tolerate our differences. In Spiritism, one of the things we have learned is that all of humanity is destined for happiness. All of us is one of the divine natural laws, which is the law of progress, which means that we must move forward. We do not believe in regression. We do not believe that we can go back and undo and unlearn what we have learned.
And that's perhaps one of the most touching pieces about divinity in general, when you think about it, is ultimately we're all condemned to be happy. It is just a matter of how soon will it happen, and that's up to us. Each one of us can do their best in getting there, so we can either speed that up or slow down the process, but we will get there individually and globally as well.
I think, yes, there is chaos, but I think there are more wonderful things going on, good projects, and towards peace, harmony.
The main thing is not to convert anyone. The main thing, the main objective is to make better human beings. If you belong to this religion or to that religion, it doesn't matter.
Okay, once again, thank you for our friends from Spiritist Academy. And then let's say hi. Well, we have a friend today from Algeria with us. So very good, Mohammed. Welcome to our discussion today. A lot of greetings. Leah is with us as well. Fernanda. So good. So today, as we said, the topic is the future of humankind. And as we suggested in this video, we will come where we are walking towards to be equal, do not have any boundaries, anything who impel us to be happy in a solidarity, in a fraternity. You may think now, well, but we are far from this. Yes, we are kind of far, but we are walking into that direction. Because when we were created, when God created the spirit, we were simple and ignorant. We didn't have any knowledge at all, okay? And everyone has your unique task, your unique way to evolve, to progress in terms of intelligence, or progress in terms of morale. So, but both walks hand by hand to reach perfection. So, a characteristic of a perfect spirit is moral qualities. For example, love, respect, patience, faith, forgiveness, and how they use this within all brothers and sisters. How he shares his love, how he respects, how he has patience, how he shares his faith, how he shares the forgiveness. Okay? And I think you can agree with me, we do not evolve from day to night. I will not sleep today and tomorrow we wake up more evolved. This requires time, this requires study, this requires patience, this requires efforts, this requires persistence, this requires self-donation. Okay? And the evolution, it happens if you want or if you don't want. The law of progress, is part of the law of nature. And all beings created by God is subject to this law. Okay? So, the bottom line here is there are two types of evolution. One type is material evolution. The second one is a spiritual evolution. And based on this, I'd like to ask to dear Elsa in UK, based on this brief introduction I gave you here today, Elsa, which comes first, the material or spiritual evolution? How solidarity links with our evolution?
Well, okay. So everything in the universe is evolving, evolving, evolving. Nothing is static. Everything is evolving. So we, as a human, we evolve spiritually when, through our attitudes and thoughts, we strive to become a better person. We are balancing our thoughts and attitudes. And material evolution occurs as you progress morally. So material evolution occurs when you progress morally. Why that? The spirit with S, capital S, then dematerializes. That is, its typical physical body becomes lighter and less heavy, therefore, less subject to disease and needs. Who watched the film No Solar can remember most of the scenes in the lower zones, the spirits that from the lower zones are evolving to the colony and receive help. So Kardec said in the Spirit book, the action of corporeal beings is necessary for the evolution of the universe, but out of divine wisdom, God has willed that in this same action, they might have a means of progressing and drawing near to God. Thus, through an admirable law of divine providence, everything is connected and everything in nature is in solidarity. Everything in nature is teaching us how to be a person that help other persons, help each others. We are human beings, we have our intelligence to know if I'm damaging other person or doing something not good for the nature will respond to us. The other person will be against us. We are creating the psychical environmental, not good for us. When we listen, our teacher or our professor or our psychologist, Jesus, his lessons, his teachings, is teachings for the universe. Doing good, be good, take care of each other, love each other, put in practice charity, really give away things that are not useful for you. Someone is in need, give away for someone. Be more tolerable, perhaps more silence. So everything comes from our thoughts, our conscience. So we are bringing with us when we reborn the level that we already evolved in past lives, acquire more knowledge, more moral teachings, put in practice, and evolve again. Of course, there are people intellectually higher degree in professions, but lower in love, in charitable kindness, actions of charity. So there are people with no academy in this life. Perhaps in past lives were a huge knowledge in science, for example, intellectually speaking, higher level. So in this incarnation comes as a humble person in different places in the world. So in order to learn to be tolerant, in order to learn to live in poverty, in order to balance goodness inside, charity and kindness. So learning to love. So we need that. So Spiritism is a science, because Spiritism is teaching us every moment in our life. Spiritism is a science which deals with the nature, origin, and destiny of spirits, as well as their relationship with the corporeal world, so humanity. Before we incarnate, we were created as a spirit. Spirit is our native nature. We are spirits first. We are in our 60 years, 80 years, 100 years in a physical body. So this gap between incarnations, we are in spiritual world, still learning and progressing there. But we only put in practice, if you really learn how to evolve, is in the physical body. Trials and attunements is the level of our planet now. So we, as a humankind, a humanity, we can evolve together and push up the evolution of our planet. But if there is still a lot of jealousy, a lot of pride, selfishness inside us, we are not evolving at all. We can learn a lot of languages, we can learn sciences, we can learn literature, we can really evolve in academic way, intellectually speaking. But if you don't evolve morally, intellectual can push morally, because I can learn, I can read good gospel, I can read books, I can read loads of things that teach me how to be a better person. But the transformations is inside me. I am the one that use my free will, accepting this transformation that we need or not. If I am a selfishness, I don't accept. I still carry on selfishness. But Spiritism realizes what Jesus said of the promised counseling by bringing knowledge of those things which allow humanity to know where we came from, where we are going, and why we are on earth. So, attracting humanity towards the true principles of God's law and offering consolation through reasoned faith and hope. We have faith in our heart. We have hope. We believe that this phase that we are now, transformation of humanity with this coronavirus, making people be more, use more solidarity amongst the communities, amongst countries, uniting people, scientists, in order to discover the best way to give vaccination to the entire population, give the vaccination to the poor countries that are in need. We are the ones that has in our hands this power, intellectually speaking. But there are spiritual power, spiritual side that we should develop as much as we can to learn that we are spirits for a phase in a physical body, but we will return to the spiritual world. So we have something after our death. We are not finished with our death. We continue living. So this is most important thing. Once humanity acknowledge this information that a lot of religion, spiritualist religions are bringing to us, some religions talk about reincarnation, and some religions don't accept reincarnation. Think that we live 100 years, and for the eternity we will do nothing, only sleeping, or burning in hell. That is not the way that we think. We are evolving here and there. We are learning here and there. We can help humanity here and help other planets as a migration from planet to planet. So we are the ones that are in charge for the humankind evolution. There are more things, but I don't know if my time is finished. Just one more point.
No, you can go. Keep going. You still have like 3 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, quickly. So I will read one passage here direct from the book. Spirits are created simple and ignorant. They evolve intellectually and morally, passing from a lower order to a higher one, until they attain perfection, where they will enjoy unalterable bliss. The superior spirits, they are not doing nothing there. They are doing, they are working, they are creating, they are helping planets evolving everywhere. We have thousands and thousands of spirits helping our planet, thousands of spirits working in hospitals, helping the scientists, helping doctors, nurses, staff everywhere. We have our guardian angels that evolve spirits helping us. So we are interacting with them. We should do our part in our evolution. That's it.
Thank you, dear Elsa. Thank you, my friend. And also we have our friends from Uruguay here with us today, so it's good to have you here. They're saying also there's a comment here, it's very good to see talking about diversity and tolerance. That's it. So that's one of the secret of the sauces here. But now I would like to go to our doctor in Lithuania. And my dear Nadja, there is something in our brain when we experience like happiness, when we experience these moments, something change in our brain, or how is the connection?
Yeah, we have, thank you for the question, first of all. Hello to those who are coming now a little bit after 20 minutes. Yeah, we have neurochemical chains in our brain. So, for example, we release some neurotransmitters and hormones when we are experiencing happiness. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in the body. So the brain needs them, these neurotransmitters and the hormones, to regulate many of the necessary functions. So our mood, our heart rate, our concentration. So during a pleasurable activity, our brain releases dopamine. So one of the neurotransmitters. So dopamine is related to pleasure, reward, memory. When we are doing some aerobic exercises, or running, or jogging, we are releasing endorphins. So endorphins inhibits pain, creates euphoric feeling. It also gives some relaxation. So then when we have deficiency in endorphins, it can play a role in fibromyalgia, for example, chronic pain, sometimes chronic headaches. When we are exposed to sunlight, then we are experiencing happiness. No? So we are releasing serotonin, and serotonin can be, if it's too low in the blood circulation, so it can be related to depression. Yeah? And when it's too high, also it can have some consequences, so dangerous symptoms such as tremors, increased heart rate, agitation, confusion. So when Elsa said about the psychical environment, so when we are having this regular spiritual involvement, energy healing, meditation, when we are praying for others, for ourselves, we are sending good vibration to the whole planet. So this good vibration is reaching others in Brazil, in Australia, in Lithuania, and we are having this vibration back to us as well. So when we are praying to someone new that we don't know, this person is receiving this good vibration. So, and we are experiencing this psychological benefit. So when we are praying, meditating, involved in volunteering and giving our time to others, we experience the psychological benefit of it and the physical benefit. So we enhance empathy, concentration, and the advance in medicine. So talking about the future, I can give you an example that how the advance in medicine help us. Advances in medicine help us understand how the body parts, or how can we help others in different countries. 4 years ago, I was participating in a urological congress in England, in London, and we had at some point a surgeon in the United States operating a patient at Guy's and St Thomas hospitals in London, near to the London Bridge there. So how can you be here in a console, operating someone who is on the other side of the ocean, and many people watching it? So that was the advance that 50 years ago we never even thought about it. So it was unimaginable. And also researchers have found that undiagnosed brain injuries are a major cause for homelessness, depression, drug abuse and alcohol abuse, panic attacks, suicidal thoughts, and even suicides. So we can have this technology, the scans, to analyze some pathology that can cause problems in the brain, that can cause lack of empathy, for example, and depression. And we can understand a little bit more about the brain function, the behaviors, the communication, and tailor the treatment of the patient. Something that before, many years ago, we used to give one medication and try. Now we can tailor it for each person, because every human being is different. So we are different souls. We are I am one spirit, but with reincarnation, I have different bodies. And as Elsa said, we progress, and individual also. We never regret. We may destabilize a little bit, but then we need at some point to progress. And we need to be aware also of this. All these technologies, they can be used for good and for the bad. So when we have to take into account that the ethical aspects of all this progress, of this technology for the future of humanity, because at the same time that we can produce a new tissue, make a tissue from parts of the body to grow in the lab to help this tissue to replace part of our body, we enter in this cloning, the clone topic, which is very controversial. So it's something that we cannot replace the whole body. We can replace parts when they are causing some difficulties. But this also is part of the progress of humanity, of his spirit. And it's part of the world evolution, so our spiritual world as well. We have to think also that this happiness that we feel, they are moments, so they may not last so long or longer. That we sometimes want to have these feelings of happiness for forever, but we have moments of happiness when we have moments of sadness. We have to understand that life is a cycle. It's always changing, it's always evolving. So sometimes we are sad and we have to pass through this sad moment to progress, to evolve, to understand the suffering and why we are going through the suffering. And then we can reach peace. We can start forgiving, and then bringing this feeling then of forgiveness, of peace to us and to the others around us. And we are responsible for that. We are responsible for all these moments of our sufferings as well. So if it all depends on us. is the direct result of our progress, of the progress that we have been making so far. So we can have a nice car, convertible, and then from this one we want to have another one, a Lamborghini, and then we're never satisfied. We want a helicopter, because that's just a very material thing, and this will bring us some seconds of happiness, in enjoyable moments, but this won't last. And when we are spirits, when we have this spiritual happiness, we can, even when we are discarnated, we can still experience that love, that happiness on us. So recognition from our work. So when we do a nice work and someone recognizes it and thank you for that, so you feel good, you feel happy, you know. So this will last longer than, okay, I had this nice car, or I will give another example. So a patient that had dermatitis, some skin changes on her leg for 2 years, or longer, 3 years maybe, and she came to me to have some acupuncture treatment. After 4 or 5 sessions, she was totally different. She was very happy because the lesion had disappeared, and she was saying to me that she was wearing a skirt for the first time after 2 years, and this happiness that she brought on her face, coming into the clinic, I will never forget. She thanking me for that. Well, I thank the acupuncture, but this moment, this happiness that I felt, that she felt, that I will carry with me for probably my many existences. No? And there was a master thesis from the University of Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil, in the psychiatry department, analyzing children from 9 to 15 years of age in 2017. And this showed that those children who had greater happiness and less depressive symptoms, they had this personal relationship to spirituality, to the meaning of life, to moral values. So this shows that we need to have more studies about spirituality and how it can be effective in our health. But this also proves that it's not just when we are older, but also in the children experience it. And we see that the children are very, very much in and with the internet, with all the technology that we have, they seem to be more intelligent now when we compare to 20, 30 years ago, for example. So I think, as I said, we are responsible for our happiness moment, but we have to be aware also that there are diseases related to it, the neurochemical changes, but the important thing is to have this happiness inside us from the moments that we are experiencing. So hugging release oxytocin. So when we hug someone, or breastfeed, and then we are releasing this hormones and neurotransmitter as well. That brings us even more that love, that bond, the trust. So we are all together, relating everything together, and having moments of true happiness, of spiritual happiness, we can say. It's better than just material things that will bring some happiness, some seconds, compared to the whole eternity that we can experience.
I was on mute. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite good to understand this, how it works, the science behind us, how this happiness affects us, the material happiness and the spiritual happiness. And now we need to go to France. And the question here, my dear friend Charles, is we saw at the beginning of the pandemic times a lot of actions of solidarity. Now people leaving food beside the road for the truck drivers because everything was closed. They need to eat, they need to drink something. We saw solidarity among our doctors, nurses. We saw solidarity with the neighbors, like if you have an old neighbor, oh, if you need something for the shop, give me the list, I will go and buy to you, but stay at home. This I'm saying the beginning of the pandemic time. And do you think this is the pathway? This is come to be our routine, let's say, becomes our routine, because the point here is where is the true happiness? In material things or in spiritual things?
Good question. Thank you for this question, Stevan. Indeed, pandemic is, in a certain way, a challenge for everyone, and is revealing who is who are, and revealing to ourselves who we really are. How did we react during the pandemic? Did we bring some food to the truck drivers? Did we support all the people working in the hospitals, putting their life in danger to catch the COVID, and to themselves getting ill and even maybe die, which happened for some doctors who were retired already, who accepted to take service again in order to help in overcoming the difficulties, and they caught COVID, and some of them died. So it's really heroic attitude. So are we in this positive attitude, supporting all these good things, bringing the solidarity, collaborating together, taking discipline, giving up a little bit of our liberty and our rights in order to preserve and to protect the liberties and the rights of our neighbors? Or on another hand, did we, on the opposite side, claim, shout, refuse, deny the reality of the pandemic, invent how many things to just, this is nothing for me, blah, 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 and so on. Did we react then in the positive way, or did we react individually, selfishly, and so on? That is a big question. It's just revealing who is really who. And we know that it's when you are facing difficulties that you know who are your real friends and who are not your real friends. Because when everything is going fine, when there is no problem, everything smoothly, everyone with a daily routine, well installed, comfortably, and so on, everything is fine. No problem, no challenge. You have some people, they look very, very kind and smart and gentle and so on. And all of a sudden comes a big trial like this, and then you see some of them exploding. So again, it's a real revelation of who we are and who we are not. And the big question now with the pandemic is to say, hold on, wait a little bit. Where do we want to go? What do we want as a future for our humanity? Isn't it? We are at home with the lockdown, time to think a little bit, time to read, time to study. So opportunity to study the Spirit's book, of course, the Spiritist books. And then to think about what do we want in our world of tomorrow? Do we want to start everything again and even worse like it was before? or do we really want to think a little bit more about the liberties, about what is really necessary, about what is superfluous, about how to see the sustainable consumption, material behavior, and so on. Nadja told it, you want all the people are never satisfied. They want always more, and the car and a bigger car, and then an helicopter, and so on. And is this making us happy? No, not at all. Is this sustainable for the future of our humanity? As well, not. So let's think about, now we have the opportunity, we have all these elements, we have all these bases to think about what we want for ourselves, and by consequence, what do we want for the humanity? Because again, if you want to change the world, the quickest, easiest, and best way is to start changing us ourselves first. And then by domino effect, it will lead to the change of the whole world. Not always immediately. That is not just like this that everything gets better. But of course, now, as the Spirit is teaching, we know where we come from. We have all been, as Elsa told, created. Sorry, you told it, Stevan, at the beginning. Simple and without knowledge, but with this huge potential to become better, to progress. And how is this progress reached? Through the incarnation and reincarnation. And in every life, we learn something more. We progress. We progress intellectually. We progress also morally. We become better persons. Sometimes we make mistakes. We suffer the law of cause and effect, and suffer the consequences of what we are getting back, what we have seeded. And this is a way we are all learning. It has been told very well in the first video we have seen. When we look 10,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago, and even 300 years ago, where we are coming from, through the Middle Ages, all these wars, all these difficulties. Of course, there are still some difficulties today. But we cannot deny that undiscussably, this law of evolution is materializing here on the world, and that we are now in a transition from this world of trials and expiations to the world of regeneration, to a world where good and evil are becoming a little bit more equilibrated, instead of having the evil predominantly that we have today on the earth. So clearly, the future of our humanity is like this. Now, is to become a better world than what it is today, and for us ourselves, because we are composing this humanity, we will also get better one day after the other, and then the whole human population will also progress in the same way. So the progress is done on basically two areas: the intellectual progress and the moral progress. Okay. Intellectual progress, you become better knowledge of the thing, more intelligence, and so on. And moral progress, you become a better person, patient, more charitable, with no selfishness, no pride, no hate, nothing of these things. So the question is, where are we today? Intellectually, the world has done things which are wonderful. You see here we are at 1,000 kilometers of distance one from the others, with some people from Algeria, Uruguay, I don't know where, listening us live. Imagine only 50 years ago, there was not even PC yet, no personal computer. There was nothing like this. And when you go 150 years ago, there was not even electricity, not even electromagnetic Hertzian transmissions, nothing. It was maybe the first telegraph was starting. So we can see that intellectually and materially, we have a huge progress. Are we happy? Not so much, isn't it? Because still we need to progress also morally, to become better persons, more solidarity, seeing more of these positive behaviors as we just described, revealed by the difficulty of the moment, which is the pandemic, and seeing less of these negative reactions, selfishness, pride, denial, protestations, and so on. And this is clearly the way we are going, and this is why the pandemics are here, in order to accelerate a little bit this move of the evolution of the Earth. Now, coming back on this intellectual progress, we can see, imagine a person which is intelligent, but which is not a good person. What do you think of such a person? Extremely dangerous, isn't it? Because the person is intelligent, but not good. So this person can use the intelligence for doing evil, for dominating, for making become a dictator or whatever. You see, this is exactly the danger. Too many intellectual evolution and not enough moral evolution. And this is, I would say, today there are some ways to measure this. Of course, it's not perfect. It's the IQ, intellectual quotient, and now we have the EQ, the emotional quotient, which is more or less reflecting the moral evolution. And more or less, I said, because it's not, there is no perfect way of measuring this. But is the person really capable to control the emotions? Is the person really capable to find ways to come to an understanding with the person of the teams, with the customers, with whatever, you see? And today it's the more and more people, and even managers, human resource managers, they are convinced that it is better to have EQ than IQ, because again, a person which is very intelligent, but we cannot come to an understanding with no one, will not bring a lot for the team, will not bring along for a lot for the company, and so on. And it is exactly the same for the humanity. The happiness is really when we get mindfulness of all the things, not only in terms of material well-being, but also in terms of having a good conscience. Because when we look, for instance, to the question 922 of the Spirit's book, Kardec asked, earthly happiness is relative to the position of each person. And what might suffice for the happiness of one would be misfortune for another. Is there nevertheless a common standard of happiness for all? Nice question, isn't it? And the answer is very short, but very, very deep at the same time. For material existence, so the material happiness, as you asked in your question, Stevan, it is the possession of all that is necessary. And not superfluous, of course, only the necessary, okay? For the moral life, happiness is a good conscience and faith in the future. So the one which is necessary with what he has, materially speaking, he will be very happy with a bicycle. He does not even need a car and much less an helicopter or whatever. Okay? You don't need, why to have more and more things, and what is really necessary and what is superfluous? This is also something we have the opportunity to think about during the pandemic. I take this small stuff here, you see, smartphone. When I was young, there was nothing like this. Nothing. And still, was I happy? I think so, yes. So today, of course, one can admit that with the progress, it turns necessary, because it helps in the communication, it helps in finding your way, it helps in so many, in staying in contact with the persons and so on. So many things. So it would be a nonsense to refuse the progress. But when I was young, there was nothing like that. We had some public telephone with some coins to put in the public telephone. And then we had the maps to find our way, and we had different ways of doing it. Of course, we were living maybe more slowly, less informed or whatever. But okay, you see. So materially, when you are satisfied with little things, you are happy. But I think when you talk about is the happiness really in the material things, I would say not even, because you see, we are telling the spirits are reincarnating, isn't it? But reincarnation is for evolution. But once you have reached a certain degree of evolution, you don't even reincarnate anymore. And so the true happiness is really the spiritual happiness. The evaluated spirits, they are happy, but they don't need incarnation anymore. They are using their will for doing good, for the sake of doing good, without looking for any reward, without fearing any punition. It's really the pure autonomous, the intelligence of what is good is because I understand that this is the way to be in harmony with the laws of nature. And this comes to another question also that I like a lot from the Spirit's book. It's a question 780. And I will finish with this one because I'm taking too long. Kardec is asking, when I was telling a lot of intellectual evolution and little moral evolution in the humanity. And Kardec is asking, does moral progress always follow the intellectual progress? And the spirits are answering, it is the consequence, it is its consequence, but it does not always follow it immediately. So the spirits are clearly saying that the moral progress is the consequence of the intellectual progress, but it doesn't follow immediately. Interesting answer. And then Kardec, willing to know a little bit more, he asked in sequence, how can intellectual progress lead to moral progress? Okay. And the answer for the spirits is by making good and evil understandable. For then humans can choose between the two. The development of free will follows the development of intelligence and increases the responsibility of humans for their acts. In other words, when you do evil without knowing that you are doing evil, it's one thing. But again, still, you will suffer the consequence of the evil you have done by the law of cause and effect, correct? So you will have some pain, some suffering, and whatever. But once you have acquired the intelligence, you know what is good and evil, then it's up to you, to your free will, to each one's will to follow the route of what is good, what is in harmony of laws and nature, and then grow. So you see, the intelligence is indeed leading also to the moral progress. And this is then something, the characteristic of the world of the future, where our humanity is going to. Of course, it will take a lot of generations still, but it's sure we are going that path. To reach this state of knowledge, of knowing what is good and what is evil, and then to understand that it's in our interest to do the good for doing the good, to stay in harmony with the laws of nature, and then also to follow these moral evolutions towards humility, towards charity, towards solidarity, towards all these positive values. So that is what I wanted to say, but sorry, I was maybe a little bit too long. There can be a lot more to say, but I think today I will stay on this. Thanks a lot for your question.
No, my dear friend, as always, spot on and very good. So, yeah, this is a good invitation to everyone to know yourself. You know, the true happiness happens when we know ourselves. And based on that, we do have a question here. It's a quite long question from Jeanette Virman. She asks, can we look at happiness from the other side? In addition to what we do or not do, leading to degree of happiness, is there also a sense in which we are ready and always are an ecstatic, brilliant joy? Is there a sense in which how we live maybe hides from us that essence of our being? Can it help to tune into that level of our collective being and will more solidarity and loving behavior than follow from that automatically? Wow, Jeanette, it's a lot of questions in one in one question. So my take here is you perhaps can hide your happiness when you put this happiness in your material things, in your material life. Like I need to go shopping in order to become happy, instead of you become happy because you want to make the good thing to the others. Instead of going to shopping, why you don't get your time and give some clothes or help these many organizations we have here, especially in Europe and in Brazil, in America, in many countries, who look after those brothers and sisters who live on the streets without any shelter. And this, I'm pretty sure, when you think you are helping them, is the other way around. You are receiving the help. So the true happiness is behind you because you need to trust in yourself. You need to get your autonomy in order to dictate what you want to your life, what you want for your future, what you want to make with that. It's your choice. It's all your choices. It's based on everything you have knowledge so far. But it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with this. But let's see my friends here, because who wants to help me here in this answer?
I want to make a quick comment, because I think I agree totally with you, of course. And I think when we love ourselves and we start then sharing our love to others, and this is like a contamination. So it's like current of love and vibration, and this will become then a collective love and collective good feeling, collective good vibration. So for a new life, so the way for a new life, it's true love. No? So I think it's the base of everything, and that's how we bring everybody together. That's how we make things better, and how we continue living and happy and having more moments of happiness than sadness, or when we are less attached, no? When we are detached to material things and to people also, because sometimes we are attached to someone and we cannot leave this person alone, and this is also not bring us peace. So when we love, we detach, we can bring even people around us more often than when we are just close to material things.
I would maybe also add quickly that, how to say, when we are in the automatic mode, behaving by without thinking, without being conscient or having mindfulness of what we are doing. When we run in this automatic mode, I fully understand that this can hide us from the essence of our being. And this is why we have the challenges like the COVID, for instance, which is from time to time hurting us and tell, hey, hold on, think a little bit. What do you really want? And because again, I mean, this question 780 of the Spirit's book that I rediscovered by in the study, I was knowing it, but it's really very good for the lesson today, is the intelligence of the good and evil. Once we have this, then we have the conscience. And when we do something wrong, we will immediately feel it. And then we need our will still, because we still have the free will. Some people, they know that things are wrong, but they still continue doing it because it's lack of will or whatever other reason. But the moment where you have the full conscience of what you are doing, of what is good and what is not good, and that you have the will of really focusing on what is good and refraining or stopping what is not good, then you enter in this autonomous, proactive way of living, of thinking. And this is also, this word mindfulness is very, very used right now in not only in Spiritism, in a lot of spiritualist, in Buddhism, or a lot of other spiritualist movements. And this mindfulness is typically illustrating this intelligence of the things and to putting our behavior in consistency with the intelligence, and then to have again this good conscience. And that is then when we are turning into what you put ecstatic, brilliant joy. You get so strong that, as we tell in France, the sky can fall on your head. You will stay quiet and calm and face it strongly.
Great, thank you. Dear Elsa.
I was thinking these two last questions here.
Yeah.
Janet and Mohammed.
Yeah, do you want to take the Mohammed, or do you want to compliment something about Janet? Janet?
Yes, Janet is the other side of the happiness. We achieve the happiness. When we achieve this joy of life and happiness, is up to us are elevated, the spirits reincarnate or not. But we never, if I am the one good, I have my family, I have a thief in my family that is difficult and taking incarnation to evolve. I am the one that goes up to superior worlds. I will be not happy seeing my beloved one here on earth is struggling with moral levels, to acquire goodness or responsibilities, etc. This is difficult for us. The only achieve joy and happiness, really, and we decide if you want to reincarnate or not, as Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, because we are offered to him to go straight to the spiritual elevated worlds, but he decided to stay near on earth to help the situation that we are here now. Is up to us. But the question was related what Charles was speaking. Mohammed asked it.
Yeah, just say to everyone, Mohammed asked it here. What I understood is that when the soul reaches that degree of spiritual joy, a spiritual development no longer needs reincarnation.
So he understood perfectly well the things. It's what the spirits are teaching. Me, for instance, with my poor evolution, I still need to incarnate in order to progress. But the spirits, after having reached a certain progress, first step is they reincarnate in how to say, less heavy material conditions that is our case here on Earth at this moment. And after really reaching a very high degree of evolution, they don't need to reincarnate at all anymore to progress. But they still can decide to reincarnate. You have people who reincarnate on the Earth as a mission, and everywhere it is. In the case, Jesus reincarnated, Gandhi reincarnated, Buddha reincarnated, Moses, Mohammed also reincarnated. So they came to Earth to bring a mission, to perform a mission. But they progressed in this reincarnation. But it was not necessary for them to reincarnate. They did it, as Elsa told in the case of Bezerra de Menezes, for sake of really willing to help humanity to progress.
Yeah, good. My dear friends, we are 5 minutes over when we need to just give our announcements here. Let me prepare here 1 second.
In the meantime, I want to thank the presence of everybody who was here watching us, and especially the Recanto da Prece from Mato Grosso do Sul. They are very, very great people and loving. So thank you very much for being with us.
And our friends Welton and Marisa from this autonomy study group, also virtual, joining us from Brazil.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
learning a lot with them.
Yeah. Today we have study. So yeah, my friends, let's put this video here. So on the 22nd of May, we will have the 8th British Congress of Medicine and Spirituality with wonderful speakers such as Dr. Peter Fenwick, Natalie Talbert, Tani Stevanin, Vanessa Anceloni, Dr. Alexandre Moreira, and Sonia Doi. So it's online. If you wanted to enroll yourself, go to www.medspiritiscongress.org. Also, we will have on this Saturday, starting this Saturday, Divaldo will give a tour of 3 speeches here in Europe. One is starting on 8th of May, then 15th of May, and 30th of May. The talk will be on 8, 15, 30 in Portuguese. However, thanks to our friends from BUS, on the 11th, we will show again the same speech, but with subtitles. On the 18th, the same thing, and 2nd of June, same thing. So we will have, with the efforts of our dear friends from BUS, the Divaldo's speech in with subtitle in English on 3 days after the talk. Okay, so stay tuned. Here are the times. Watch your time. I don't know your local zone, but I strongly recommend you, invite you to stay tuned here. What more? Let me see here. Okay, next week we will talk about our children, our spirits. So that's the top for next week. Watch the time. It's 9 p.m. London time every Wednesday. Okay, so that's it from me. And we would like to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, dear friends. I love to see the interaction of people. And today we had so many people here. So thank you very much. Merci,
thank you, Kardec Radio.
Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you.
I don't know how to say thank you in Lithuanian, but thank you.
Ačiū. Labai ačiū.
Thank you. Merci. Obrigado. Shukran. Shukran to Mohammed.
Shukran. And we will see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. London time. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.